Hey guys, this is Jason here with Ketamine Academy. Just put together a little marketing video for you guys. I want to talk about some, sort of probably elementary marketing topics, and then get into a little bit more advanced stuff. I got a call scheduled, a video call, a bit later into this video, and it's going to be with one of my marketing guys. His name is Nathan, and he really kind of specializes in online marketing and Facebook marketing, and so we're going to get into kind of the nitty-gritty on that stuff. Hopefully you guys find it pretty interesting. Along the video call with him, I plan to just kind of ask a lot of questions as if I didn't know anything about marketing whatsoever, just trying to benefit you guys as much as possible. A lot of the questions I already know and I already have an answer to, but for the sake of teaching you guys, I'm going to kind of quiz him and question him as if I didn't know really what I was doing as far as online marketing goes. So hopefully you guys get some value out of this video. We'll just get started into my little section here. So first thing I want to talk about was knowing your consumer when you're starting your ketamine clinic. It's kind of something you do in any form of marketing that you're working on, whether it's a clinic or any sort of other business. You want to know your consumer. In our case, we want to know our patient. Typically, we're marketing to the patients. We can also be marketing to mental health care providers for referrals and stuff like that. But the focus here is going to be, for us in this video, targeting patients. So you want to know your consumer profile. In marketing, a lot of the marketing guys, for their lingo, they call this the consumer avatar. So it's kind of all the information together that kind of compiles what makes up your most common patient, your most ideal patient. And so you're going to want to know things like all their demographical information. It's going to help you to make ads that are relevant to them, that are getting in front of them, especially if you're doing online marketing. You're not going to, or any sort of marketing really, you're not going to use, say a radio ad for a jazz radio station if you're trying to target teens. If you're trying to target teens, you're probably going to go to, pop radio or hip hop or something like that. So kind of a basic concept, but it's definitely something that you want to take into consideration. You want to know everything and as much as possible about your potential clients or patients or whoever you're advertising to. So demographics are huge. So for us, what we've seen in our ketamine clinic is that we actually have more, we tend to see more females than males. It's pretty close. We're probably seeing maybe 50 to 60% females and maybe 40% males. 50 to 50, 55 to 60 percent females, and then 40 to 45% males. So a little bit stronger female preference. As far as age goes, our age group is really it's pretty broad actually, but most commonly we're seeing patients in the 20 to 55 to 60 year old range, and that's pretty common. Usually when the younger crowd starts to come in, it tends to be their parents that bring them in, or their parents that are funding the infusions. As far as education goes, often we're seeing patients that have a bachelor's degree or higher, or working on a bachelor's degree. It's not always the case, but the majority of patients are fairly well educated that come into the clinic. A lot of them, probably use that education background to kind of do their own research, and some of them come in really, really informed about ketamine. And income, when we're going to talk about income, the average income for us, what we've kind of compiled with our data is that the person paying for the infusion usually has an income above probably around $50,000 or higher, sometimes a lot higher. So that's not necessarily the patient themselves. Sometimes we've had patients who, whether they're in their 20s, 30s, sometimes even 40s or 50s, but their parents will actually fund their ketamine infusions. Obviously ketamine's out of pocket and kind of costly for some, and so those that can't afford it tend to have their parents pay for it, is what we found. As far as diagnosis goes, our most common diagnosis that we're seeing here is treatment-resistant depression, followed by probably PTSD, and then depression mixed with anxiety. Our least common would be chronic pain. And then location. So for our location, we're located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we've had patients actually fly from all over the country. Sometimes that's just because they have family in the area. But on average, our patients are probably within about a 3-hour radius of us. And we've had patients, drive, not only fly from other states, but drive from other states here. But that's kind of not very common. People will do that, especially if you have good prices or good online marketing and they feel like they can sort of trust you. One thing that kind of helped me to get patients from out of state was making videos and posting them on YouTube. I've had patients watch my videos and then they kind of develop a rapport in their mind with you. They feel comfortable with you. They feel like they know you because they've watched your videos, and so they want to come to your clinic and get their ketamine at your clinic because they just feel comfortable with you. They've seen your face, they've seen you talk, they know your voice, they know your demeanor, and so that's kind of help us grab some patients from locations outside of our 3-hour radius. But as a whole and overall, we see most of our patients come within a 3-hour radius, and even if you want to narrow it down even more, most of them are coming from within a 45-minute to 60-minute drive from our clinic location. And so using all that demographical data, you can start to compile ads and create ads that are, attractive to those sorts of individuals. And especially with online marketing, you can really target where you place your ad, and you can put it right in front of people with the demographics that are most likely to be in your patient profile. Other things that you might want to try and get a hold of if you can are your patient interests. So where are they working? Are you noticing any trends in where they're working, where they eat, where they shop? We already talked about where they live. That's kind of the location aspect of it. What kind of activities or lifestyle things are they interested in? For maybe depression patients, as far as the activities and lifestyle thing fits in, are there any support groups that are in your town where they might be located? Because that could possibly be a way or a place where you could do some advertising, or maybe go and do a free educational presentation at one of those support groups or conferences, things like that. And so as you start to think about your clinic marketing, you really want to know your competition. So you really need to do a comprehensive evaluation of all the competitors in your area. And so some clinics are really lucky. There are no competitors. Some have just one or maybe two. And then in a few large cities, there's several clinics in the area. And so you really want to go to each clinic's website at the very least and start to look, who are their providers, what kind of training do they have, what other kinds of ancillary services do they have, are they using any sort of software to track patient success, all sorts of different things like that. And you want to try and figure out how you are going to be able to set your clinic apart from the competition, because competition's real, and it's free market out here, and that's one of the beauties of capitalism. If somebody can do it better, they're going to be more successful, have more patients, have better income. And so obviously you want to analyze the competition in great detail and find out what you can do in your clinic that's going to be exceptional, that's going to get all the patients to come to you versus your other clinic. And so once you've done that, then you kind of want to analyze your own clinic, whether you have one or don't have one. You want to analyze what your strengths are, or what they will be once you get things going. And so what kind of advantages does your clinic have over others is an important thing to think about. Like location can be a pretty important advantage. If you are 30 minutes outside the city in the middle of the country and in the woods, nobody's obviously going to come to your clinic. If you're very conveniently located off a highway, sort of in a centralized area in the city, or maybe an area of the city that has the income demographics that you're interested in targeting, then you're probably going to have much more success. Trying to think about what your clinic strengths are going to be, you also want to think about what your clinic is going to be able to do better than the other clinics. Are you going to have better customer service? Are you going to not let your calls constantly go to voicemail? What's your follow-up going to be like with your patients? Are you going to personally follow up with each patient after their infusions to check on their progress? all sorts of different, what's the atmosphere and the ambiance of your clinic going to look like. All of those things are really, important when it comes to, trying to figure out how you're going to be better than the next clinic. And while you're doing this, you also want to kind of evaluate how others are perceiving your clinic, and what they might see as your strengths and weaknesses as well. For this section, obviously we're focusing on strengths, so maybe talk to some of your patients if you're already open, and ask them, what do you like about our clinic? Why didn't you pick the clinic next door or down the road or next city over? What makes us stand apart, and maybe you can use that information to strengthen what's setting you apart, or maybe they have some suggestions for you to make your clinic even stronger and more appealing. Other things as far as strengths go, obviously we talked about the location. If you're located in a tiny remote area of town or in a small market, that's kind of a weakness compared to if you're located in a really large market or in a great location with good income demographics around you. Another thing to think about is what sort of, we kind of talked on this a little bit already, but what internal resources that your clinic has that's setting you apart and making you better. Is your staff well trained, knowledgeable? Are they do they excel at customer service? Some of the things that we do at our clinic is that we actually, every time we have a new patient consult, we take notes and write them on the inside of the chart. We try and develop a personalized rapport with our patients, and so we ask them questions about their family, their dogs, their hobbies, and we jot notes down in our chart. So that's the next time that we see them. We see a lot of patients, so it's hard to remember that stuff, but before the patient comes in, we're scanning the charts, we're refreshing our memory on their dog, their wife's name, whoever's bringing them in, maybe it's their daughter's name, where people live in their family, whatever we can to try and build a connection with the patient. Those types of notes we put right in our patient folders, right in the front. And so that's one of the things that we think sets us apart, is that we really work hard to develop a personal rapport with our patients. So that kind of covers strengths. When it comes to analyzing your weaknesses, you want to obviously think about what you can improve upon, and I kind of touched on that a little bit. If you're already open, you want to connect with your patients and find out, what they like, what they don't like, and especially start to take what they don't like. People are not going to be happy 100% of the time. It's just a fact of having a business. Not every single patient, every single customer is going to be giving you 5-star reviews every time. But anytime you get a negative comment, a suggestion for improvement, you really should act on it if at all possible, because that's going to make a huge difference in your overall and long-term success. So same thing as far as analyzing your weaknesses. Like I said, what are people in your market likely to see? Maybe you could have some other providers look at your website and see what they think might be not looking so hot on your website as far as how you describe or market your ketamine. One thing that I wanted to kind of bring up is that I've noticed that some clinics, hopefully nobody that's taken my course, because this is not something I support, but some clinics are marketing super extravagant results. They're exaggerating the outcomes. They're not being honest. That's definitely, in the long term, I think that's a weakness, because people can see right through that after a while. Obviously you want to be on the up and up with all of your marketing tactics, and if you're advertising proprietary special cocktails of ketamine infusions, not publishing any data to back yourself up, and then keeping it a secret because you don't want anybody else to find out, that's all marketing gimmicks, and it's all something I don't believe in. And so I honestly think that in the long run, that's going to be detrimental to those clinics. In the short term, they might get some people to believe that they have some awesome proprietary blend, maybe believe they're extravagant results, but it's not ethical, it's not honest, and it's not the way anybody should be running their clinic. And it's not going to benefit the patients, you, in the long term. So please, if you're doing that, don't do that. When you're looking at weaknesses, you also want to look at you want to look at it from the angle of, I think we already talked about this already, but what your competitors could possibly be doing better than you. Because if they're doing something better, then that's going to be a weakness on your end, and it might be a reason why a patient chooses them over you. So if I didn't mention it already, this whole analyzing your own clinic is called a SWOT analysis. I think I skipped over that part, but SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so as we're moving through the SWOT analysis, the next section is opportunities. And so what trends are you aware of? You know, in the ketamine clinic world, some of the trends are using and working with a compounding pharmacy to use ketamine creams for some certain types of chronic pain. The nasal troches are becoming popular at a lot of clinics, and a lot of clinics are providing prescriptions to those to some of their patients. So is that an opportunity potentially for you to not just be offering ketamine infusions, but start to sort of expand a little bit, possibly? That's something for you to, analyze and see if anybody else is doing in your market. Are they getting patients because they're doing that and you're not? Something just to take into consideration. As far as opportunities go, obviously the fewer competitors in your area, the better it's going to be for you. So, if you're thinking about starting a ketamine clinic and there are no competitors, or the competitors are doing a terrible job on their marketing, or they're doing, some of them are doing shady marketing, for lack of a better term, maybe that's a big opportunity for moving into that market and taking over their patients by doing things the right way. Changes in technology is a big opportunity too. There are a few apps out there that ketamine clinics can subscribe to or buy or utilize in their clinics, and one of the most common ones is called Mood Monitor. If you haven't heard of it, it's an app that you give your patient access to. They make a little account, and then Mood Monitor has an algorithm where they're setting up and reminding your patients to fill out depression scales or pain scales, things of that sort. And then that information is accessible by your clinic. So, that could be an opportunity for some clinics that maybe aren't offering a service like that. It really, I think it helps. It helps your patients feel like not only that you're caring about them and checking on them, but it also gives you good raw data because you have constant scores, and that data can help you improve, your services and stuff like that. So that's a possible opportunity. When you're doing a SWOT analysis, the next part of it is analyzing threats. So, what kind of obstacles are you facing? One of the big perceived obstacles is the nasal spray ketamine, the S-ketamine that Janssen Pharmaceuticals is working on. Is that really a perceived obstacle? It's not available yet? It's not showing phenomenal results. Patients are having a shorter duration of action, nasal mucosa irritation, all sorts of different things. So adjusting to those sorts of those obstacles are important. Maybe you're going to be a provider that not only does infusions, but you're going to offer the prescriptions to the new S-ketamine nasal spray if it ever gets FDA approval. So these are all things that you want to constantly be thinking about. And are your competitors doing or adding new services or adding new apps or technology to their practice that you're not doing? Again, that would fall under not only a threat but an opportunity to improve your clinic and maybe replicate or improve upon what they're doing. Again, we talked about the changing technology. For us, it's sort of the changing trends as far as FDA approval goes, research, new and evolving research that's coming out, showing the benefits of ketamine for all sorts of different things. Are those going to be threats, or are they going to be perceived as opportunities? Most of these new research articles coming out are looking like opportunities. Ketamine's being used for all sorts of different things now. Pain associated with Lyme disease, migraines. I've seen some new articles coming out on ketamine for refractory seizures, all sorts of stuff. So as you're moving through the SWOT analysis, you obviously want to keep all this stuff in your mind and then use it and then act upon the information that you're thinking about and working on. Obviously, you want to do whatever you can to make your clinic as good as possible. You want to You want to capitalize on the opportunities. You want to minimize your threats. You want to, improve upon all of your strengths. You want to minimize your weaknesses. And overall, that's going to make for a much better clinic. And it's also going to give you a lot of tools when it comes to marketing your clinic. If you have a really strong practice that's doing everything right, it's really hard to fail at marketing your clinic, as long as you're getting your ads in front of the right people. So coming up here, this will be the next part of the webinar. I have my marketing guide. His name is Nate, and they do a lot of the marketing for my clinic. They do some of the online marketing and some of the Facebook marketing, and so he's really skilled at the online side of things. And so because I feel like that's so important for a newly opened clinic, I decided to bring him on a call. And so I'm going to get that set up here in just a second. And what I'm going to do, like I mentioned before, is kind of just ask him and quiz him on questions, Facebook marketing, messaging, a little bit of ad copy. And I'm just going to kind of ask him questions as if I don't know anything, because I think that's going to be the most beneficial for everybody in this group. So hopefully you guys enjoy that section, and I will see you once I get that call connected. Hey guys, so I've got Nathan linked up over here. He's on the other end of our Zoom call. Nathan's one of the guys on my marketing team, and he is an expert at online marketing and Facebook marketing. And so we're going to kind of like talk about how to utilize the information I was just talking about with you, as far as patient demographics, knowing, exactly who you're marketing to, their income range, their diagnosis, their education level, their age, even their sex, their location, using all that information to more effectively target your patient population or your potential patient population, and then using that information to create Facebook ads. Same thing with the SWOT analysis when you want to market the strengths of your clinic. So after you finish that SWOT analysis, you got a list of all the strengths of your clinic. Those are effective marketing tools as well. And so you can take your clinic strengths, you can put them, put those clinic strengths into an ad with some really good copy, and put it right in front of those patients that you're trying to get a hold of and get into your clinic as patients. So without any further ado, here's Nate, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about what he does. We're going to go through a funnel strategy session here, and we'll really work on it at a high level. And if you guys like this kind of stuff, we can create more videos, more in-depth videos for you. And you guys just let me know in the comments what you want to see from us, and we'll work on it. So, hey, Nate, welcome to
Hey, guys. How's it going, man? Thanks, Jason, for having me. What I do is, personally, I do paid traffic. There's a lot of people out there that do organic search, organic traffic, pay-per-click, SEO, that type of stuff. But my specialty is paid traffic, and specifically, I like social. I like Facebook. I like Instagram. I like LinkedIn. Mess with Twitter and Snapchat a little bit, but not much. But the big three, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, are kind of my big ones. YouTube is kind of a supplementary thing. Basically, like you should always have some type of videos posted on YouTube or Vimeo or something like that. So that's kind of the arena that I play in. What I like to do for the medical professional is really get more newer patient registrations, and also get some booked appointments if possible. It's actually super effective on social to not only get somebody interested in your treatment plans or your services provided, but to actually get somebody to register for an appointment. A lot of people these days, in this day and age, they like to kind of just less human interaction. I mean, to be honest with you, like if they don't have to call up a secretary and make an appointment, if they can just do it themselves, they're going to do that. They're going to go that route. So if we can give them the opportunity to do that, it's way more effective. It's easier to scale your clinic. So yeah, that's kind of what I do as far as social goes. That's kind of the goal that I have for or a medical professional.
Cool. And so just to keep this like really high level and really basic for everybody, you're talking, you do paid traffic. So that means like somebody's actually going to create an ad and then pay Facebook to put it in front of certain people, right? That's what you're talking about?
Correct. So Facebook has an advertising platform itself. Basically, if you get on Facebook, you scroll through newsfeed, you're going to see ads, sponsored ads from different, what we call business pages. But it looks like a profile. It looks like, just like your friend's profile coming up on a news feed, same thing. You actually pay Facebook for this stuff. And when you dig into it, you find out just how much you can actually get on Facebook as far as advertising goes. There's many different ways to do it. There's different, what we call objectives. So it's actually like multiple different ways of making an ad. Maybe if you've ever gone to something shopping online, you go back to your Facebook and all of a sudden you start seeing the products on your Facebook feed. That's called a product dynamic ad, a collection ad. That's one way that advertisers use their stuff. Another way of doing it is making an actual avatar. That's kind of what Jason was talking about earlier, finding your niche, so to speak, utilizing your strengths and your opportunities within your industry, as well as figuring out who your ideal client is. You can really pinpoint and target this person on Facebook and throw them an advertisement that is custom tailored to that person.
Cool. And so I got a quick question. Why use Facebook? Why not use like a billboard or a radio ad or something? What are the benefits of Facebook versus other different ways of advertising?
Basically, everybody's on Facebook. I think there's over 2 billion people on Facebook at any given time around the world, all the time. Like 100%. Right now, doesn't matter what time you're watching this, there's 2 billion people on Facebook at that time. So
it's just insane.
it's insane. It's absolutely insane, the network that they have built. And in the US, it used to be a younger generation that was on it, but now everybody's on it. The average age on Facebook is now reaching 38, 39 years old, average. That means now we have 50, 55, 60, 65-year-olds on Facebook, and they're using it. They like it.
Yep. Yeah, something crazy, just a little comment. I was in Romania for the first time because my wife is Romanian. We went to the village, one of the small villages. People didn't have running water in their houses, and they didn't have toilets in their houses, believe it or not. And they would use an outhouse, but they all had cell phones and Facebook. It was absolutely nuts. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, that's exactly why I prefer Facebook, because the network is so insane, and the capability is even more insane. Like I said, once you dig into it, once you get into the advertisement platform of Facebook, the capabilities are so robust.
Yeah. And one of the other benefits, right, is like if you're using like a billboard or something, there's just people driving by who, well, first of all, they're probably not even paying attention to the billboard. They're probably texting while they're driving or talking or not paying attention to the billboard, but it's not targeted, right? Like anybody driving by is going to get the ad, whether they're a potential customer or not. Like whereas Facebook, you can literally hone in and put that specific ad in front of your exact potential patient. So that's pretty unique too, right?
And I always refer to Facebook ads as a digital billboard. It's a digital billboard. You can put something in Facebook at specific times in specific places if you really want to. It's just like a billboard. You buy this billboard over on the highway because of morning traffic, rush hour traffic, lunch traffic, whatever, right? Like that's the whole point of that billboard is the traffic that's going by it at any given time in any given place. We can do that exact strategy with Facebook. I used to actually be on Walmart shopper teams. So I marketed for brands that have their products in Walmart. And we outsourced to multiple digital vendors that would put banner ads all over the internet. They put it on Men's Health, Southern Living, any news article, website, Wall Street Journal, whatever. We'd pay these people to put banner ads out there. And what's more is we pay them to do it in a very particular way. Maybe this zip code around this Walmart Supercenter, or that Target, or that Come and Go over there, or whatever. They pay or they charge six figures for these types of campaigns. They charge people outrageous amounts of money for digital advertising in the big time retail space. And what I found out whenever I got into the Facebook stuff is that it's so much cheaper to do the exact same thing on Facebook. Exact same thing. But I don't have to pay $150,000 for some digital vendor to put a banner ad on the internet. Same thing.
Yep, exactly. Cool. Well, now that we know what Facebook is the bomb, I guess if you want, we can go into like the funnel that you guys use and kind of like explain that a little bit. I think people will find that pretty helpful.
Sure. Let me share my screen real fast. You see that okay?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so what this is basically the whole enchilada right here. Like this, it's a bunch of arrows and boxes and all that good stuff, to the normal person. But to me, this is a very, very targeted strategy. This is a strategy that has a very specific purpose. Each different piece is a proven component of this whole system. And it may look really, really complicated, but if you drill it down piece by piece, it all starts to kind of make sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here on the left-hand side with this cold paid traffic right here. This is kind of what you're talking about earlier, building this avatar, building this audience, this very targeted person. In Facebook, we target with different things, but the main thing that we can target within Facebook is interest targeting. Whenever I say interest targeting, I mean if you go and you like something on Facebook that's by this business or industry post, sponsored post, it could be your buddy's orthodontal post, whatever. When you like that, you get put into a bucket in Facebook advertisement, what we call targeted audiences. So Facebook has very specific interests in our targeted audiences, and you can make this exact person. So when you do an exercise to make your ideal client, you start writing down what all they like, where all they shop, where all they eat, where all they drink, all that good stuff. And you start drilling down that very specific person. What you can do is you can find these interests on Facebook. So if, for instance, with a clinic, you want somebody that's interested in, this type of treatment or medical health, maybe it's health and fitness, maybe it's supplements, maybe.
Yeah, one thing we found was successful as far as targeting interest was like different types of depression support groups and depression organizations or suicidal support groups. And so we've actually run some ads and we've targeted those specific interests. And that's one way to kind of get your potential patient population. Yeah.
That's crazy. And that is exactly the power of Facebook right there in the cold traffic space, is that you can drill it down, man, to the exact person that you're looking for. Like you said, those depression support groups or PTSD support groups. There are literally interests in Facebook for PTSD, depression, chronic pain management, all that kind of stuff. You can find those people. So that's where the cold traffic starts. What you'll see next is the cold traffic, what I call level 1 Facebook ad strategy. 3 different Facebook ads right here. We have one that's a video ad that goes to this video sales letter. What the video ad needs to be is your desired message to your desired patient. So what is it? Like, what's your product, first of all, and why? That's the big one, is why. So, Ketamine Clinic, what's the why for a Ketamine Clinic, Jason?
Well, yeah, if you're trying to, make your clinic stand out against other clinics, you're obviously gonna focus on the strengths of your clinic here in this part. Obviously the benefits of ketamine. So for us, we've done a couple of different videos. We've done like a sort of educational type videos, explaining a little bit about ketamine, a little bit about the strengths of our clinic, and we found that to be pretty helpful. So before we start to try and sell the patient in quotes, we're not really selling anything, we're just educating. But before we invite them in to make an appointment, then we educate them on the strengths of the clinic and a little bit about the ketamine process, and that's what's worked for us.
Exactly. The education is the most important part because it will build the trust with the client. It will build that indoctrination. When they feel they will trust you is whenever they take more action later on in the funnel. And so exactly that, getting some education in there, talking about the why, talking about what ketamine is, and basically just drilling that down into a very nice professional message in a Facebook ad. We can use the same exact video to do what's called a lead form. So what these lead forms are, it's a Facebook ad that when you click it, a lead form pops open, and it basically asks you for your name, email, phone number, any kind of information that you would want out of somebody. So for this, it'd be, there should be a question in there. It should be, the video might talk about what ketamine is, the why, the education, so on and so forth. And there's a call to action, basically, where you're asking somebody, hey, if you want to learn more about ketamine treatments, if you want to learn more about how ketamine can relieve depression, PTSD, chronic pain, whatever that is, click this ad, let us know, give us your information. Whenever they put their information in, you can start actually talking to them through your backend strategies with email, could be a text message campaign, could be messenger bot if you really want to get into that kind of stuff, whatever. But yeah, that's another route to go. And then we have this Facebook video that also is another Facebook video, but instead of kind of what you're talking about, like the actual sales Facebook video, this one would be more about a blog or an article write-up that's been done by you for ketamine. So I always encourage people to get into blogging or vlogging or just, writing in general, something on the internet that's, like you said, educational, gets kind of the actual product out there, but it really indoctrinates somebody before you start jabbing them with, sales pitches or put your information in for this or blah, blah, blah. I really encourage people to get their ideal client to that education part of it. So this is that stuff, that blog write-up, that article write-up, and there's a ton of stuff out there that, just in my research about ketamine clinics before this call, I saw tons of write-ups from different doctors and all that good stuff. So I definitely encourage that process. Do that write-up, do that blog post, and make a Facebook video ad. It could even be a Facebook Live if you want to do a Facebook Live talking about, hey, I just wrote up this article that you guys really need to check out. It's something new, it's something fresh, it's an old drug that's being used in new ways to do some crazy stuff. So yeah, there's that stuff. And then the organic traffic. And I know, Jason, you talk about like some of the organic traffic stuff with your business. Like, what have you personally seen out of like SEO, organic traffic, and whenever you do social, how does it kind of impact the organic search?
So organic search is really driven by keywords, and then that the blog writing. So you need to have a lot of good content on your website in order to drive any sort of organic results whatsoever. Google's algorithm is constantly scanning your pages and looking for different keywords and looking for content. If you have like very short like descriptions of just what services you offer, you're not going to rank well on organic search. Or by organic search, I'm talking about like somebody going to Google or to Bing or to Yahoo and just typing in whatever ketamine clinic in a city, ketamine clinic Albuquerque, and if there's any sort of competition in the area, say broaden it up a little bit, ketamine clinic New Mexico, where there's a little bit more competition, but you're not going to show up on the first page of Google unless you have like actual some search engine strategies, some SEO, search engine optimization strategies built into your website. And for me, blogs are huge. And then there's a lot of really basic stuff. I actually put a video together for everybody. It's actually linked up on the Ketamine Academy page, but it goes into really pretty good detail on how to tag images, tag your different blog posts appropriately, and use keywords. All that stuff. SEO is a long process. It's not something that happens in like a week or two or even a couple of months. It's something that takes many months to years to continuously update your website, develop content, use keywords. And then over time, as more people start to see that your website has quality, then Google starts to know that because there's more links going to your site. Those are called backlinks. And then it'll slowly start to rank you higher and higher and higher. So there's a lot that goes into organic traffic, and content is probably the most important thing as far as generating traffic and getting to the top of the Google search results.
Exactly. And that's why whenever I love to work with SEO guys. I'm not very good at it myself, but I love to work with them because what I do on social gets amplified with organic search because it's like I can drive traffic and it's a very, like you were saying, with SEO, it takes a little bit. With social, it's almost instantaneous. We can get traffic that day to the website. And the more traffic, the more keyword search gets built, the more stuff that people see on social, the more they're going to go and search on Google, Yahoo, Bing, whatever. So,
yeah, exactly.
it just amplifies it. And that's what we call multi-channel stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's part of it down there. That's part of my funnel, the organic traffic part of it. YouTube, like I said, it's supplemental. You really want to get some treatment reviews on that YouTube channel. So it could be let's just say, Dr. Jason is the YouTube channel, whatever the case may be, or Nurse Becky or whatever YouTube channel. And you start doing some treatment reviews. You start talking to patients on that YouTube channel. You start kind of going over treatment options, talking about this person's results and that person's results. And what will happen is people will not only search for your website, but they'll search and they'll come up with a video search. And they'll start seeing their YouTube videos and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's a supplemental part of this whole funnel. And it really adds to the legitimacy of what you're pitching to people. So if they see it on YouTube, they see a review, then they're more likely to kind of trust it a little bit more, like we said. And this first part of this funnel is all about building trust. It's all about getting that education out there and building the trust.
Yeah, exactly. I made some YouTube videos just to kind of try it out. I noticed that a competing clinic was using a lot of YouTube videos in a different state, and I saw how many views he had, so I decided to start making some. And YouTube is incredibly powerful. It's the second most searched search engine in the world, and so to not have like any videos at all on YouTube is it's really not a good decision. It's pretty easy to make a YouTube video. You can do some educational stuff. I literally just sat here in the clinic and explained what the ketamine process was like. I actually had patients and still do have patients who found me on YouTube, watched my series of videos, and then insist that I provide their ketamine infusions because they've developed that trust. They feel like there's a rapport that's already been built just because they watch my videos, they see my face, they see how I act, how I talk, and they feel comfortable with me already, even though they've never met me, which is kind of crazy, but really interesting and powerful. And so definitely, if you're not doing YouTube, I would highly, highly recommend at least getting a small series of videos up there, maybe 5 videos, and making sure you tag those appropriately with keywords. Second biggest search engine in the world. You're missing out big time if you don't have anything up there.
For sure. For sure. So moving on to the next step, these 3 boxes right here, I want to kind of go over this. What this is a landing page funnel. It could be a website. It could be landing pages, whatever, whatever your actual treatment information is housed on, whether it's a landing page or whether it's a website, it needs to flow similar to this.
So
So
real quick, just for the people that aren't familiar with what exactly a landing page is, can you just explain that real quick?
sure, sure. So a landing page is basically if you go to a website and you pull up a page, there's, all this different text and videos and graphics and all that good stuff. That the actual physical thing that you're looking at on your computer at that given time or on your smartphone at that given time is a page. You can make these pages in softwares that aren't websites. And so that's what we call a landing page software because it only builds one page at a time. Websites build an entire infrastructure. They build multiple pages inside of this big old website. Landing page softwares are more about building that single page step by step by step. So that's kind of the difference between a landing page and a website.
And so a landing page is like it's more designed to like achieve one or two objectives, right? Like maybe educate and then get them to enter their email address to add them to your marketing email funnel or something like that, right? Whereas like a web page has like all sorts of information, and it can get confusing on where to like click, where and when, and what the objective is. A landing page literally has like one or two objectives, and it's usually designed to try and get you to purchase something or enter your information so that you can be worked into a series of emails to down the road get you to purchase something, or in the case of a ketamine clinic, make an appointment. So
100%, 100%, exactly right. And you'll notice in my funnel right here, if you start in the left corner and you work your way on the arrow, there's a path, right? In the retail world, we used to call this the path to purchase. They would go this step, then this step, then this step, then this step until they purchase a product, right? It's the same concept for a medical professional wanting to get this appointment at the very end. It's first step, Facebook ad. Second step, this page, then this page, then this page. And that's exactly what you're talking about. There's an objective on a landing page. One objective, maybe two at the most. But the objective is to get them to take an action. And then on the next page, there's another objective to take another action. And what you're doing is you're taking your ideal client in a very step-by-step process, a path to action. And so you're exactly right. With this first landing page, for instance, we call that a video sales letter page. Basically, it's a video of you explaining exactly what ketamine treatments are, what they're used for, and most importantly, the why, the pain point. Like exactly, there's a reason why people are starting these ketamine clinics up. There's a reason why you had a ketamine clinic, Jason. It's because there are treatments out there that aren't working for people that need them very badly. They need
exactly.
a solution. They need a
Yep.
solution to something, and there's not a solution out there in another route. So whenever somebody makes a landing page or ketamine clinic, that has to be the focal point. It's, I know you're here at this landing page because you don't have another option. And I've got another option for you. And blah, 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 blah. And then at the very end of that, you're calling them out to take action. And that action is simply to click this button to go to the next page. And on the next page, we're actually going to gather this new patient registration. We're going to ask somebody, hey, before you show up to our clinic, here's some common, frequently asked questions. Here are some, maybe some pamphlet information or something like that on this page. But the main part of it is register as a new patient so that we can kind of give you some more information about what ketamine is and how it can be used in these insane treatments for people that absolutely need it. Once they take the action of getting that registration, then they go to a second page that is an actual appointment booking. So this is kind of the last step of this funnel is booking this appointment. It's, you registered as a new patient. Awesome. We've given you information in your email inbox. Now it's time to, book some time to come into our office for maybe a free consultation or, maybe there's an offer for 20 to 30% off your first treatment, or whatever the case may be for that person. What is it that's going to get that person to the office? You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly.
So that's kind of how this landing page strategy works. And that's the most crucial part, is getting someone from point A to point C right here. Once they get to point C, that's kind of the end of this funnel. And then it's more about maintaining and keeping that person in their ketamine treatments and all that good stuff. But I mean, that's what the funnel is all about. There's multiple different pieces. Like, you'll see some retargeting aspects up here, level 2, level 3 buckets. That's all retargeting. Basically, when somebody takes an action on any of these steps, we put them into a retarget audience and give them another ad on Facebook that kind of drives home, maybe with this treatment sales video, like what treatments actually do, what kind of treatments you have, so on and so forth. Once you get really over here in the retarget process, we start to get into the social proof. Somebody that's used ketamine, maybe a patient of yours, interview them in your office, talk about what the treatment did for them, what the results were, where they were in their life before treatment, where they are in their life now, that type of stuff. People love a success story. Everybody loves a success story. And that's kind of the general concept of this funnel. So, I mean, do you have any questions as far as this whole stuff that I've gone over?
No, I don't have any questions, but I do want to touch on one thing when it comes to retargeting and kind of how that works. So I'm sure everybody's been to like a website where they were shopping and they looked at this cool pair of Nike shoes or something, and you click on that, you're thinking about buying it, you like it, you decide not to buy it. You click off that website, and then the next day and for the next 4 days, you're seeing Nike shoes, that exact same pair of Nike shoes pop up on every single web page that you're looking at. That's what retargeting is. So you're not, when it comes to Facebook, you're not popping those ads up on every single web page like that, but you are put into a pool. Facebook kind of stores that data that you looked at this video, you were interested, and then puts you into that it stores that code and saves your information. And so when you go to use a Facebook ad and retarget, it's going to know that you already watched that stuff. So it's going to put another video, whatever you choose, in front of that same person that clicked that video originally. So that's kind of like what retargeting is, the same concept.
That's exactly what we're talking about with that path. You want to take your consumer on a journey. You've drilled down exactly who your ideal client is. And with this funnel process, you're taking them through an actual path, a journey. They don't even know it. And that is honestly the best way of going about things, because when somebody doesn't know the journey that they're on, they take it freely. But when you start trying to coerce somebody into doing something, or you start trying to be a little too salesy, or so on and so forth, red flags go up and they stop. They're not going to take any action. One of the things that we used to talk about in retail is the golden rule of retail is that I can't tell somebody to buy anything, or else they will not buy it. It's kind of like whenever you tell your kid, go clean your room up, man. But when you say it to your kid, he's not going to go clean his room up. But when all of his toys are everywhere and he doesn't know where any of his toys are at, all of a sudden he starts to clean his room up, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly the way it goes with all this marketing stuff. You can't tell somebody to take the action. They have to just make the decisions freely. So the best way you can do it is to take them on a very strategic path, for sure.
Yeah. And education is key, because, as medical professionals, obviously we're not trying to like be salesy. We're not trying to, push patients into doing anything. The idea is to educate these patients, get these ads in front of the right patients. So patients that, may have benefited but have never heard of ketamine infusions, see this ad and they've been struggling, and all of a sudden they see something that could potentially help them. And so for our specific situation, education is just huge, because, we're not trying to sell anybody into anything, especially when they get in the clinic. We're not selling anybody into anything. We're giving them, an objective description, benefits and risks. and we're letting them make the decision. We're just giving them the information to do so. And yeah, education's huge. Can't even emphasize that enough.
Exactly.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for taking the time to come on here and share this with us, because it's definitely super valuable. I know the first time I saw one of those sales funnels, I was like, dude, what the heck? But now I understand it. Yeah, it's a totally different way of marketing, and really it's really especially beneficial for newer clinics, because if you don't have that search engine optimization honed in yet, you're not showing up on Google results. The only way to get people to see your clinic and know that you exist is to pay for ads and pay people to look at your clinic. And so it's incredibly beneficial, especially in the beginning, before you have those referrals. Once you're an established clinic, you don't have to have big, huge budgets for this kind of stuff, because one, your SEO is already ramped up and you're showing up on pretty good search results, as long as you're doing that well. And then two, you're getting all sorts of referrals from area mental health providers once they know you're in town. And so, we kind of talked about the strategy of putting these ads in front of patients. Well, there's also the possibility of putting these ads and making special custom tailored ads and putting them in front of medical professionals right in front of right in your town, especially mental health professionals who are likely to give referrals. And so educating them on the process, educating them that that you exist. And so it's the same exact type of process. You just create different content for who you're marketing to. So, yeah.
For sure. And I appreciate you having me, man. Like I said, this stuff, I know it's complicated, but it's necessary in this day and age. And so if any of the medical professionals that you have in your program need this kind of stuff, just shoot us a message, let us know, and we can put this stuff into place for anybody. So yep, I had a great time.
Well, thanks a lot, man, and appreciate the work that you guys are doing over there. I know that this stuff definitely works, and so that's obviously why I'm sharing it, because it's super helpful, especially for those new clinics. But all right, talk to you later. Take care.
See you, man.
See ya. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that masterclass I put together for you. We got all sorts of marketing stuff in the course. I just keep getting more and more and more in depth with you guys. If you guys want to learn more details about marketing, we've got all this stuff in the course. All these videos are going to be in the course. The course covers absolutely everything A to Z on how to start a clinic. And if you're interested, all you got to do is go to ketamineacademy.com and check it out. You can sign up for a free trial there. You get to see exactly what it looks like as a student from a student's perspective inside the course. And then I've also unlocked several of the course content pieces, so you can get an idea. In the course, there's videos, there's audio, there's an audio interview with a ketamine patient, and that's really interesting. We've got reviews of journal articles. We have protocols. We go over all the safety issues, the regulations. Super comprehensive, and yeah, it'll save you guys a ton of time when it comes to starting your own clinic. Obviously, most of the stuff can be compiled on your own if you really want to. It takes forever. I've done it myself, and yeah, that's why I put this course together. And anyways, hope you guys really enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. I'm going to keep making more videos, and we'll talk to you guys later.